Hello, my name is Mari Kazumata Shah, and today I'd like to talk to you about studying in Japan. There are 5 reasons for studying in Japan. The first one being that we have world-class educational standards. Second one is that the academic fees are affordable. There's an international environment to study in, and the culture and nature of Japan is, as you know, world famous. And lastly, the employment opportunities in Japan. International students in Japan are increasing by the year. We already have 300,000 students in Japan. And as you can see, Uzbekistan has sent almost 2,000 students to Japan, and we hope that you can join them. Higher education system in Japan is such. We obviously have universities and graduate schools, but we also have junior colleges. We also have this thing called Kosen, College of Technology, and we also have professional training colleges. The academic year in Japan is divided into two semesters. The first semester is from April to September, and then the second semester is from October to March. Now, there are several or many higher education institutions in Japan. There are over 600 graduate schools in Japan, over 700, almost close to 800 undergraduate universities, as well as several other institutions in Japan. So Japan is a hot destination for advancing your educational goals. We would like you to follow these 7 steps to study in Japan. First of all, gather information. Information is key. Secondly, choose a school 12 months ahead of time. Okay. Take the appropriate test. Apply 6 months before. And then number 5, take the entrance exam. Number 6, go through the admission procedures. And number 7, prepare before going to Japan. Now, I'm going to talk to you about qualifications for universities, okay? Universities, meaning undergraduate programs, usually require 12 years of schooling and completion of secondary education, and you have to be at least 18 years old. But as far as we know, students from Uzbekistan, Russia, and Belarus have had this requirement relaxed, but still, please check with the institution that you're applying to. In terms of graduate schools, you need 16 years of schooling and bachelor's, and you have to be at least 22 years of age. For graduate schools and doctoral program, you need to have a master's degree to enter it. Now, where can you start? You need to go online and you need to look at the Study in Japan website. Okay, so just remember this. When in doubt, go to the Study in Japan website. Okay. And as I said earlier, you have to start planning a year in advance. So don't be late on that. And if you are starting 6 months ahead of time, then understand that it's going to be very difficult. Now, how much language do you need to know? Do you need to know Japanese in order to study in Japan? The answer is yes and no. No, if you're applying to an English language program and the language requirements as such. I understand that in Uzbekistan, IELTS is more popular than TOEFL, so I'm going to talk about IELTS. In graduate schools, you need a score of 6, and in undergrad, you need a score of 5.5 to 6, which is much lower compared to, let's say, a university in the UK. So in terms of that, the language requirement is low, but still, you need to be able to express yourself confidently and take part in academic discussions. So please brush up your English. If you are applying to a Japanese program, then look at the JLPT requirement on the right. For graduate schools, you need N1 level, the highest level. Yeah, especially in humanities and social sciences, you need a high level of Japanese. For undergraduate programs, you need at least N2 level of Japanese. And for other professional training colleges and programs, you need N2 level of Japanese if you are going to study with Japanese people and graduate in Japanese language, okay? The EJU is given in the middle. Now, in terms of graduate schools, there are 2 types of courses. One is the master's program, which runs for 2 years, and the other one is the doctoral program, which is 5 years divided into 2 sections, the first phase and the second phase. Yeah. So now, the for graduate school admission, you need to prepare your research plan. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Search for a school, but also search for a good academic advisor. Here, we advise that the advisor really sort of, that your interests match the research background of the advisor. That's really important. Okay. Contact the school, also contact the professor, and gather information on entry requirements and go through the procedure, and then submit the required documents in order to finish the process. Yeah. So now, as I said earlier, writing a research plan is really important. Okay, you can look this up online, but here I'm going to talk about it briefly. It must obviously have a title. Secondly, it must have an objective, background, rationale, research questions, and also prediction of your research endeavor, methodology, work plan, time schedule, expected outcome, and references. In terms of previous studies. So it has to be sort of like ready or set, before or during your talk with the academic advisor and the graduate school. Okay. I'm going to move on to living costs. Approximately, it takes about $800 per month to live in Japan. Depending on the location, of course. If you are in a large city, it'll cost more. And if you are in the suburbs or in the countryside, it'll cost less. In terms of academic fees, let's take a look at the top. Let's start from graduate schools. A public university program will cost about 5,000 US. And a private graduate school will cost somewhere between $6,000 and $12,000. Yeah. In terms of undergraduate programs, again, for public university, it's about $5,000. And for undergraduate programs, somewhere between $8,000 and $35,000. Yeah. And here, I'm going to ask you to look at the bottom half of the page. This is for those of you who are looking for Japanese language programs. If you want to go to Japan for 1 year to study Japanese in a Japanese language school, then it'll cost about somewhere between $6,000 to $10,000, and so on. Okay, so if, for example, you're going to a 2-year school, it'll cost double that. Now, since I'm speaking about cost, let me now compare it with the international standard. Japanese universities cost about 5,000 US per year if you go to a national local public undergraduate program. And in the US, it'll cost about $26,000 average. And here in Japan, if you go to a private undergraduate program, on average, it costs about $8,500. An American university will cost about $35,000. So you can see the difference. You can see how reasonable it is compared to the United States. That being said, if you're looking for financial aid, then the following is possible. The first one is the Japanese government mixed scholarships. These must be done in your home country, okay? And you have to apply through the Japanese embassy. The second one is the Monbuka Gakusho Honors Scholarship for privately financed international students. This is done after you get admitted, and when you arrive and come to Japan and you go to the university, then you can apply for this. Okay. The third one is the Student Exchange Support Program. Let's say that you are already a university student and you want to spend 1 year as an exchange student, and there is financial aid available for that. But for that, you need to talk to the administrators in your university. Okay. And the fourth one are local government or private foundation scholarships. Okay. So this is the list of financial aid for international students for a fee exemption system. Now, this one is where universities have their own internal program for helping students financially. So if you go to the Study in Japan website, you will see a list of such programs available in different universities. Okay, so ultimately speaking, there are a variety of ways to finance your education in Japan. Okay, so you need to come up with a financial plan. It has to be really kind of solid and strong. And in order to make the plan, you need information. So please go to the financial aid page, download this pamphlet and study it thoroughly. It's a lot of text, a lot of information, but if you have information, it will be key in getting you through this. Some things that you need to be careful about, and I'm gonna, talk about that right now. Some fallacies, false information. For example, one is that you can earn almost $3,000 per month. Absolutely not true. You can earn up to about 500 US dollars per month, equivalent of, right? The second fallacy is that you can receive close to $30 per hour working in Japan. Not true. Very few people are able to achieve that, even native Japanese people, okay? And then the third one is that you can cover tuition living costs and then send money back to your home country, to your family and relatives. Not true. And your financial plan should not reflect that. Okay, so be aware of these fallacies. Employment opportunities in Japan are increasing by the year, and therefore also the number of students who decide to stay in Japan and work is also increasing. This is the figure of students who have switched their status from student to worker in the past few years. So as you can see, the number has increased exponentially and is expected to rise more. And in terms of the top 10 occupations available, or in terms of popularity, you can see on the right side of the slide, the first one being translation and interpretation. The second one is retail and sales. And the third one is international business. And there's more. So it's a lot of information that I've said to you. And one good thing you can do is to go to the Study in Japan website and download this pamphlet. And here you can see everything boiled down into one book. So you should study that as well. Okay. Now, and more details can be found in the Study in Japan official site. Again, the same site. Okay. So I hope that this was good for you, that it was informative, and this has inspired you to look into Japan as a possible destination for your educational goals. And I hope that you will be able to come to Japan. Thank you very much. And please, if you have more questions, also check out this website. You can use your QR code reader and scan this. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.